So you want to be 500 pounds? I'm the one to talk to. My name is Eric Emanuel, and I used to be 500 pounds, and I agree with you now. You know what? All this stuff that's going on in the news and the media about trying to ban our artificial food, our fake food, our food that's bad for you. I miss eating that food. Actually, I've done the crazy thing the last couple of years of getting in the healthiest shape of my life. I can run, I can move, I'm active, I can do 25,000 steps a day. I can feel fantastic, but I miss the days of being 500 pounds. So today I want to explain to you a little bit about what you can do and some tips and tricks for how you can get to 500 pounds. And you can lie to yourself and really be an inspiration for yourself about why you're struggling losing weight. So let's dive into it. Step number one, just eat a lot of food. And what I mean by that is let's take a look at Fat Eric's diet. For those that don't know, my usual diet back in the day, once I got a car, was Burger King. It was a croissant meal with a large hash brown and a large Coke with an extra croissant. Think about that. That's 800 calories, 900 calories in just the croissants. That is the hash browns, 400 calories, and then the soda, 500 calories. So you're starting your day with 4 times the amount of sugar, 4 times the amount of carbs, 3 times the amount of fat you're supposed to eat in a day, and that's your meal. That's how you're going to be fat. And that way, when those people look at you and say, no, that's okay, you can eat in moderation. No, because that food you're eating has so much fat, saturated fat, carbs, and you're not, let's be honest, you're not going to go out and exercise. You're going to sit there. So the pounds are going to pack on even more. And that's the best thing. So tip number 2, sit in very bad posture. So I finally got this chair. So Tony Pizza Guy gave me one of these 8 or 10 years ago, a GTX Racer. And I always sat in bad posture. I hunched over. It made me hungry like an hour later. All it really was my sciatic pulling on my back hamstrings, tightening my back, making my tummy bloaty feely. But that's what you want. So you want to eat big meals. And then you want to go and sit in a chair. And you want to hunch over constantly. You want to have your shoulders hunching over. And then you want to, in about an hour, when you feel that bloating, you're going to go, your brain's not going to tell you because nobody ever told you you're autistic. You're going to go, I need to eat again. And what you need to do is you need to mentally tell yourself you're hungry, even though nobody explained to you hunger feelings, because an hour after you eat, you get the gurgles, because your whole life you would eat that breakfast, and then lunch would be maybe 2 McDoubles, a large fry, and a soda. And by the way, every doctor is going to look at you, well, not for you, for me, every doctor looked at me and went, what type of diabetes do you have? High blood pressure? I had none of that. That's what you want. When you're trying to get 500 pounds, you got to go for it. You just got to full send this stuff. So let's talk about some of my biggest things. We're talking pizzas. Everybody loves a good pizza, bro. Right here, Big Daddy Pizza, Pizza Hut, stuffed crust, full one, no problem. Pizzones back in the day, we're talking 2 of them. I gotta thank my friend Michael L. His family ran a motel, and it was one day we were all hanging out. 3 of us were at a sleepover. We get medium pizzas from Domino's. We see who can eat the most. And he puts down a whole medium, and from then on, just woofed him. We're talking Little Caesars, full pizzas. We're talking the lunch combos. We're talking that when I was so broke and I came across $6, I was at Little Caesars. This isn't for the quitters. You're not going in for snacks. You're going in for the most amount of food you can possibly get because we're trying to fatten you up like a cattle, baby. That's what you're going for. That's what you want. That's what you crave. That's what you desire. The fat acceptance movement, where you can look at somebody like 495-pound me, 500-pound me. And that entire time, I was like, man, people shouldn't judge me for my size. I'm so much more than that. And like, I never once thought about my size like that. I always knew because I said I could lose this weight whenever I wanted because I was crazy. And then I went and did it. And then I got called crazy the entire time I was losing weight because nobody explained to me nutrition. So here's what you need to know ahead of time. Let's say you have a job that you're working 20,000 steps a day like Amazon. Bro, you're going to lose weight. I need to fatten you up. You need more food, more steps. You could literally eat 2 pizzas a day if you work at Amazon. Like let's pack this on. I'm going for bloat, and I want to get you floating. I want those red dyes in your system. I want the sugars, the carbs, because clearly you don't want to be healthy. Because if you did, you already would be, right? That's what I kept telling myself my entire life. So step number 3, the ingredient label. If it's healthy, if it's natural, you don't want it. No, you don't want to eat eggs or healthy breakfasts or healthy foods that make you have a once a day normal bowel movement in the morning so you can go about your day. No, you want bloating. You want shitting your pants at a Mexican restaurant so you can tell your friends that Mexican food runs right through me. Not realizing, actually, it was probably the Burger King you had for breakfast coming through the pipeline. And right after that will be the McDonald's you had for breakfast, followed by the Chinese you had last night. And coming down the pipeline fourth was just the Mexican food you ate 5,000 calories of that pushed it through the system. But you got to get used to saying things like that. It runs right through you. It does. Because if you're trying to get to 500 pounds, you need to have the most denial possible. You need to sit there and say to yourself, I'm big boned. Like, because for me, everybody would tell me, oh, he's just big boned. And I'd be sitting there like, there's no such thing. You don't see what I eat. I literally eat a loaf of white bread for breakfast in the morning because I eat when I'm hungry. And nobody ever told me that eating Quick Trip white bread, 8 slices a day for breakfast, was almost your day's carbs. And that's the reason you were hungry, because when you go and eat a bunch of carbs and then sit, you're going to get anxiety, depression, and that's what you want. Because the more carbs you eat, the more your leg is going to twitch, the more you're going to be in your head. You don't want protein. You want the carbs. You want sugars. You want red 40. You want sucralose. You want caffeine. You want all the bad stuff. We're going for broke here, man. If I try to give advice on losing weight, nobody wants that. We want to pork it up. We're trying to get our own TV show here, is the end goal in this situation. Sure, would I love to have you around for many years to come because you're happy, you're no longer anxious or depressed? Yes, but you can be 500 pounds with all that too. That to me sounds like a win. So step number 4, you're not going to listen to anybody's advice. Even when they're dead in the face and you go, I'm hungry. And they go, okay, what are you going to eat? And then they go and whip out this energy protein shake. And they have energy and they're happy. You don't want that. You want to eat so much food you go, oh, I gotta buckle the belt. I'm gonna go lay down. Because you want acid reflux. You want a reason to go cram more food into your gullet in the middle of the night. And when you truly ascend to my level, step number 5 is the 5th meal. We're not talking 3 meals. We're not talking 4 meals. We're talking that 5th meal, baby. Because we all know the best way to do it is probably to stop eating about 8 or 9, maybe go to bed around 10 or 11, let the food process. Although, if you go to bed eating only high protein at night, you're going to wake up through the night, so you do have to have slow digesting good carbs at bed. But you don't want those when you're gaining weight. What you want is to go to Quick Trip. And for me, that's my gas station. It could be your gas station of choice. But for me, at 6 p.m., the donuts go half off. Every fat person has to know where the food goes half off or free or goes down, because we're trying to maximize our output, baby. We're not door dashing. We're not wasting money on fees and credits and tips. That money and that food has got to go into our belly. We don't thank drivers for, thanks for making my day and bringing my food. No. That was a pizza you could have fed yourself. You see what I'm saying? I feel like some people don't even want to be 500 pounds, and they're not taking this seriously. If you want to be 500 pounds, you have to commit. And that Quick Trip late night 5th meal, that donut, 530 calories. You got a second one, 530 calories. That's 1,060 calories at 2 a.m. And guess what? That's 50 grams of sugar. But you're not done there, Chief. You're getting that 4th quarter-pound Angus burger. And that Angus burger from Quick Trip's got 560 calories. It's got 32 grams of fat. It's only got 23 grams of protein for a quarter-pound burger. Sure, you could get 96 foreground beef for 560 calories for the entire pound at 96 grams of protein with 12 grams of fat. But for the same amount of money, you can get a pre-made quarter-pounder with triple the fat. That's what we're looking for. Convenience. The foods that are easier and prepared, the better. So, I want to know your tips and tricks to fatten up like a cow. If I'm trying to fatten myself back up, I'm getting too thin. I'm working at Amazon. I need to start taking some of my own advice. But then when I eat that food, it makes my job very unpredictable because I have to go to the bathroom and it's not predictable, and I can't go through at a great pace all day long. I'm slow, I'm sluggish, I'm making excuses, I'm in my head. I'm eating too much protein and too much good food. I need to watch this video back and remember what it was like to be 500 pounds. Because then I can be anxious, depressed, sit in a room in a chair in bad posture and make content for the internet. That's what I need to do. Until next time, how are you guys getting up to 500 pounds? Let me know your tips and tricks.